Welcome everybody, it's Tellum and I got for you guys a pretty cool video on the Shadows of Evil as promised, coming a little later than I wanted it to. It was supposed to come out on Sunday, it's Tuesday today, and who knows if I'll even be able to put it up today. But this is going to be on by you guys are probably, oh my gosh, I can't talk, but you guys can probably tell by the title, this is about Mr. Rat and another character that is talked in these phone booths. And if you guys don't know where these are in the tram stations, and then there's these phones in there. You could just hold square over them and you could hear these, but I'll be playing them for you guys so you guys don't have to do that yourself. But I'm going to be telling you exactly who I think Mr. Rat is and this guy's uncle is, and you guys just tell me what you guys think about this. Of course, this is a theory. We do not know if this is true in the slightest, so without further delay, let's jump into it. Okay, I'm going to let you guys listen to the first phone, and then I'll come back and do my best to theorize on it.
Hey, Mr. Rapp, just checking in. So, I'm here. Finally. Taking in the sights, sounds, and smells of Morgue City. I know you sent me here to write a piece about the city's bustling nightlife and theater scene, and the characters that inhabit it, but things are getting kind of strange. Even though no one seems to want to talk about it, something is definitely off about this city. Just last week, there was a meteor shower. A freaking meteor shower. And everybody acted like it was no big thing. Then, the mold showed up. All over the city. In the dark, damp alleys, there's a strange kind of fungus growing. It looks weird and smells even weirder, but nobody really says anything. Then people started getting sick. At first, it just made them delirious, confused. Then they really got sick. It was like they were wasting away. People finally started talking about it. I spoke to one guy in his 80s, a fruit seller, at the local market. He said something similar happened in New England in 1882. When I tried to press him on it, he just lowered his head and ignored me. If you ask me, something definitely ain't right here.
Okay, now that you guys heard that, so right away we know he's talking to Mr. Rat, because he obviously calls him Mr. Rat, and we're not going to talk about Mr. Rat till we get to the third phone, so just be patient. And so what we know, it kind of sounds like he just arrived, but then because he just starts saying that he was sent to like see the nightlife, the theater screen, and the characters. By characters, he means the people into the city. But then he seems like he's been around enough to know that he noticed there was a meteor shower, which we'll get into more in just a second. But he said he just arrived, but I don't know. I guess he's been here for some time. We know that because he's been around long enough to know that there was a meteor shower. Now to get into the meteor shower. The meteor shower, he said no one had a really big deal about it, but nowadays nobody really cares about meteor showers either. Well, I would know because I like stuff like that too, but nobody really cares about it when I tell them about it. So that's kind of course, it could be different back then. I don't know, but then he says a mold comes, and we don't know too much about that. And in the alleys, there's this weird fungus. But at first, nobody's making a big deal about any of this. But at first, people started getting delirious and confused from this mold and fungus, I'm assuming. And then they started getting really sick. They started just they were wasting away, it's almost like zombie-like. And if you're getting confused and delirious, if you guys think about it, let's see what's happening to confused. That happens to everybody in the Giant, but delirious, that only really happens to Takeo and Richtofen. Nobody's really getting delirious besides the other two, because Richtofen, if you guys notice, he yells. Well, I don't know if he's getting really confused, but really Takeo is really. But so we can assume this is from 115. So maybe the meteor shower there's 115 in it, but I'm not sure exactly how this relates to the mold and fungus yet. But I don't know. But he said he talked to a fruit seller, and he said a similar thing happened in New England in 1882. But when he tried to push him on it, he started ignoring him, just put his head down. But I tried looking up if anything really happened in 1882 in New England, but I couldn't really find anything. If you guys find anything, for sure, tell me down in the comments. And then that's about it for this one. So this phone. So we'll go on to the next one. I'll let you guys listen to it real fast, and then I'll again talk about it.
Hey, Mr. Rapt. So, I went by the market again today. For some reason, the fruit seller was much more talkative. Even if what he said was more than a little crazy. He told me that when he was a boy, his uncle would get drunk and start talking about how a dark force cast its shadow over the city. How good and evil were battling right on our doorstep. And that the only thing holding back the forces of the apocalypse was the ancient order of the Keepers. Well, even if what he said was more than a little crazy, I'm not sure he was. Even though they're scared, or maybe because they are, people are talking more. Asking around, I've heard more than a few whispers about this ancient order and the Keepers. I think it's some kind of cult. They say you can hear them chanting sometimes. From beneath the city. There's all these rumors about human sacrifices and freaky shit that even the police won't investigate. Because they've been paid off, or because they're too damn scared. I'm not sure what to believe anymore.
Okay, now that you guys heard that, as you guys can tell from what he said that the fruit seller was much more talkative, and he said that his uncle would get drunk, and I want to really pay attention to this uncle character, really pay attention to what he says. He said he would get drunk, remember that, and say that there's a dark force casted a shadow over the whole city, and a dark shadow, we're assuming, the Puffkin, like the Shadow Man, obviously, and they said there was a fight between good and evil at their doorstep. So let's move on from that, and I'll come back to it just for a little bit. But then he said the only force stopping the apocalypse was the ancient order of the Keepers. Now the Keepers, so it kind of sounds like the Shadow Man or the Puffkin are fighting against the Keepers, and that's kind of what's happening inside the map. You guys can already tell that from if you guys seen the Easter egg or know some story on it. But then, that's all fine and dandy, but who the heck is his uncle to know why about any of this? Who knows about this? Why does he know that there is about this ancient order of the Keepers or this dark force happening in Morgue City? How does he know this? Now, let's think. Okay, what did they give us any information on this uncle character? Okay, they say drank a lot, like I said, to keep note of. And who do we know to drink a lot? Who do we know? Nikolai. So, we know that he kind of, I'm not saying that he is, of course this is a theory, but what if it is Nikolai? Because we know this guy is an 80-year-old fruit seller, so that would make his uncle kind of, I don't know how old exactly, so we're just assuming he's 20 years older, so he'd be 100 years old at this time. And Morgue City is taking place in the year, I forgot. Well, the age kind of doesn't equal out as well as I would like, so it would make Nikolai pretty old inside during all these events, especially during the Nazi army fight and all that. But we can tell, but just, of course, a theory that this might be Nikolai, just maybe. It could be Nikolai, not saying it is, of course, and just tell me what you guys think. Do you think it could be Nikolai, or am I completely crazy and that doesn't really, or the uncle character is just nobody that they had to throw in to just make this more interesting? Or is he somebody else? Tell me what you guys think, of course, down in the comments. Now, let's get to phone 3. Of course, let you guys listen in real fast.
Hey, Mr. Rapt. So I tracked down all the people you asked me to look into. I sent you a telegram with all their details, all their contact numbers. But I gotta be honest, I'm getting nervous. These last 6 months you've had me working like a low-rent private dick. When really, I just want to be a reporter. It's not that I'm ungrateful. I know the checks you've given me have been more than generous for services rendered. It's just all this stuff you've had me do. Tracking down ancient artifacts in the South Pacific, finding all these strange metals and rocks in Russia. And still, I haven't even met you face to face. I'm sorry, Mr. Rapt. I think maybe the mood in the city is getting to me a little. Making me nervous. Antsy. Anyway, I'm looking forward to you finally getting here.
Okay, and right here, he was telling him what, like, he was, like, Mr. Rat told him to do, and he got info on all these people, the contact information and everything. But let's think who these people are. Okay, right away you would think that it's the Shadows of Evil characters. But if you really think about it, why does he need their contact information and all that? But so we'll come back to this in a little bit. Right after I get over who I think might be Mr. Rat. But kind of think, why would he need this information on them? But let's move on. But of course, he said he's played really well, and he's kind of freaking out at this point. Like, I think the 115 or something's messing with his head or something. I'm not too sure. But and then he starts talking about the stuff Mr. Rat has had him do in the past. So he said he had him get some ancient artifacts in the South Pacific and strange metal rocks in Russia. Now, this ancient artifact, what kind of ancient artifacts can we think of? The most recent one, I'm believing that this is actually where the summoning key actually came from. He found it in the South Pacific, and because if you think, where's the summoning key when you first get there? It's in the back of a thing, whatever it's called, the back of a truck right there. So maybe this is a reporter's truck, and that's where the summoning key was. Because if you think about it, right after he said that, he said he's never even met Mr. Rat face to face, but he's finally coming. Mr. Rat's finally coming. And so what if he's coming to go pick up this artifact? He's the one who bring it here. Just think about it. And the metal rocks in Russia, the strange metal rocks in Russia, I can't really figure out what those are yet. So I'm not too sure. But just really think about, what if this truck really is his? Now let's get back to what I said we would. The people he wanted to get information on. Okay, why would he need the information on the characters inside this place? Of course, it's been theorized that this is also where the Mob of the Dead characters used to be. And what if it was not the Shadows of Evil characters? Because if you really think about it, these Shadows of Evil characters aren't even from Morgue City. If you guys don't know that yet, it's actually still kind of a theory, but I'm not really thinking that the Shadows of Evil characters are actually from Morgue City. I think this is this Morgue City isn't even real in this world, so it's kind of hard. It's kind of a strange theory, but just go with it just to help this part of the theory. And of course, they could be from, but this isn't a big part of the theory, of course. But then, so this is just a small part. Of course, it could be on the what's it called, on the Shadows of Evil characters, because I don't know, it's just kind of, it could be, I can't really reason why it would be anybody else. So now let's start talking about who Mr. Rat is and why he wants this information on these people and wants these artifacts and knows about them. So let's think, who can possibly know about the ancient artifact? Of course, there's the Shadow Man. He obviously knows about it. Then there's nobody else inside the map until you finish the Easter egg. There's Richtofen. So I'm kind of leaning to this Mr. Rat guy was rather Richtofen or Maxis. So because they both go there, but they kind of miss each other, and it's kind of weird that he arrived to get the ancient artifact. So who would have known the ancient artifact was here? Mr. Rat obviously did, but why would Richtofen know? Of course, he could have possibly been Mr. Rat. It makes perfect sense if you ask me. So I'm not too sure, but tell me what you guys think of this theory. Of course, it's about the end of it, and so tell me what you guys think. If you guys think it's crazy, then go ahead and tell me. And if you guys think it's insane like I do, then drop a like rating. It'd be amazing. That'd be so cool if all this theory stuff I came up with is right. And of course, if there are any errors or problems, tell me down in the comments. Then I don't know what I'll do. But like I said, that's it for this video. But if you guys wanted me to do this on the other radios inside the Giant, want to do this, go ahead and tell me down in the comments, or just watch this video or thumbs it up for I can know you guys want one for the Giant radios too. So I did actually recently, this is pretty cool, I got the Juggernog edition finally, so I'm planning to do a giveaway. Just almost there. I want to hope, like, maybe once we get 75 subscribers, that'd be great, but like I said, this is about the end, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys on the next video.